Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airways of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. We got to get right into the NFL and the headlines from Week 6 with a regular right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. All he did was catch touchdown passes. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest wide receivers in the National Football League history, the one and only Cris Carter. Cris, you were a little bit late getting to the show today, and they would talk about technical difficulties and all of that stuff. I happen to know that was a lie. I happen to know that you was hiding. I happen to know that you were hesitant to come on today's show because when you saw the Detroit Lions whip those Cowboys' ass the way that they did, you said, damn, I'm not in much of a position to come talking some smack about those Minnesota Vikings. Ain't that the real reason you were delayed?
No, I got respect for what's going on in Detroit.
Okay.
Now, this has been the old school way to build the team. First, you get a coach that people believe in, little unorthodox style, but old school. We're going to bring our lunch pail. We're going to be biting ankles. Everybody laughed and everything. Now, Dallas understands what biting ankles means. So I got plenty of respect for what they've done, how the rebirth of Jared Goff and his career there in Detroit, the weapons that they have in Detroit, that was spectacular. I think that's one of the best overall performance by any football team we've seen. But you cannot discuss Detroit without discussing Aiden Hutchinson and the horrific injury that he had, because people like him, they can't be replaced. That defense was just starting to have some bite. Yes, they can score points, but now, see, this team might be like the 98 Vikings, run through the regular season offensively, but defense around the middle of the pack. I don't believe that's going to be good enough in the long run. But you're right about the Lions.
I'm going to get to the Lions a little bit more in a second because that Hutchinson injury, I'm going to ask you about that and the impact that I expect that to have on them. I get all of that, CC, but I got to tell you something, man. I am not satisfied with your response. You are not giving me the passion and the laughter that I need when it comes to that ass whipping those Dallas Cowboys took. That was an ass whipping, okay? We see people lose games every single week. It's rare we see folks get punked the way that they did, get beat at the line of scrimmage. We got colleagues and contemporaries in the business calling football players soft. That's what they're saying about these Dallas Cowboys. That's what a lot of people are seeing, CC. What did you see from the Cowboys?
Okay, I've heard all the analysts. I've heard what you talked about offensively and defensively, the deficits at home, getting smacked at home. But the worst was after the game, Stephen A. And not only on Jerry's birthday, that was not the type of present this team is supposed to give that man at 82. But Dak Prescott, when he got to the podium and said, I'm not going to hit the panic button.
Oh, my Lord.
You know what? When he was on his first contract and he was trying to make a name for himself, he would have pushed the panic button out. But now that he got that $230 million guaranteed, I saw the outfit he had on, body looking nice, haircut nice and fresh, but that performance and that type of leadership afterwards, it's time to hit the panic button. I'm so panicked right now, man. You're not getting ready to believe what I'm getting ready to tell you. I'm ready to entertain Bill Belichick as the coach.
What?
I'm willing to stop being the general manager. I'm willing to stop because this team stinks. And Bill Belichick, his overall leadership and knowledge of football, it's time to break the glass. It's an emergency. 5 alarms, Stephen. Bring in Belichick.
When? When are you talking about bringing in Bill Belichick? Next season? When?
Yes, we're going to bring him in, but you got to realize the Jets are already looking for a coach. They're going to be 5 or 6 teams looking for a coach.
Then don't that mean you got to grab him? Don't that mean you need to grab him now? Don't that mean you need to grab him now?
You need to entertain him. You need to entertain, man. If you don't get through the month of November, with the Dallas schedule, anybody can beat them right now. Shoot, college teams be lining up to play the Cowboys right now. They can't stop the run, can't run the football, stop CD Lamb. What else they gonna do to you?
I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys right now. You bring up Dak Prescott. I'm going to start calling him Zoolander. He looked like the male model. The cut was fresh. The outfit was nice. I mean, he looked all stealth and everything. Looking damn good. Looking like he going to have a nice time after games, no matter what the hell they do on that football field. And that's the damn problem. But I will combat you with this. I don't agree with you on this point. You said that before he got his contract, he would have hit the panic button. Nah. The Dak Prescott that I see at the podium talking to the media after losses like this is the same Dak Prescott I've always seen, CC. I think that's part of the damn problem. There never seems to be a bit of urgency. He always says the right things, but he damn sure doesn't always do the right things.
Listen, Dak is in a situation that if he does not play spectacular football, his team is not going to win the game. So what he's going to say after these games, he's going to run out of excuses. Like, you can only lose so many different ways. You can only get embarrassed at home. And, I mean, we thought this was the same team. It's not the same team. Man, they used to be dominant at home. They used to be super explosive on the offensive side. This is not the same team. Even on paper, they brought back the same team.
I look at Derrick Henry as maybe being the luckiest dude in the National Football League. He's in Baltimore making noise, running roughshod, had another 132 yards rushing yesterday against the Commanders in Baltimore's victory over them. The brother is getting touchdowns every single week. He's a fantasy football person's dream. He's balling right now. Had he gone to Dallas, running behind that offensive line, his career might be in danger. That's how bad Dallas is.
But sometimes you need God to close doors. Everywhere is not a blessing. Even Dallas, all the glitz and glamour, even though you live in that town. No, man. You need to go to Baltimore, because guess what Baltimore knows? They know physicality. They teach that every year. Any hardball team, the dad through the sons, is a physical team. If they got grandkids coaching football right now in another league, that's a physical football team. That's the way they're going to play. It's hard to teach that in the National Football League. So I told you earlier in the season, don't be surprised with a slow start with the big fella in Baltimore. Not a lot of tackling in the preseason. Let them figure out his style. But Baltimore, and with Lamar playing the best football, now scrambling with his eyes still down the field, this is the best Lamar. Not the first MVP, not the second MVP. This is the best Lamar. So Baltimore, yes, they're fortunate. They're fortunate Jerry and them couldn't come up with that money. So now he ends up in Baltimore, and man, what a explosive combination they are.
Let me switch back to the NFC North in this respect. So you got the Vikings undefeated. You got the Detroit Lions looking in some people's eyes like the best team in football. The Chicago Bears, just blitzed the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't get me started with the Jaguars. The only thing going for Trevor Lawrence is his hair commercials. Outside of that, ain't nothing going on good in Jacksonville, for crying out loud, okay? We've got that going on, and of course, Green Bay. This could arguably be the best division in the sport right now. Tell me how you encapsulate all of this that you've been seeing from the NFC North teams, and what do you see coming out of it? Is it the Lions? Is it the Vikings? What are you seeing at this particular moment in time, CC? And I need objectivity, say, not that purple people eater waving the pom-poms, okay? I need objectivity here.
Listen, the people that produce your show, they know it's Purple Rain this year. That's why they got purple on the back. So I don't have to wear purple all the time. All this stuff behind me is because of the purple. People understand that. But I'm a recognizer of good football, and especially quarterback play. Caleb Williams in Chicago, what they did over in London, it was special. The last 3 games, he's starting to live up to what they thought he could do. Key person getting healthy. My man Keenan Allen in that slot is nasty. He one of the most underrated football players the last 10 years. Now he brings his act to Chicago to be able to help out the rookie. You could see the difference in London with him getting healthy. Green Bay, they finally have their quarterback healthy, and their defense, I believe, is going to be a top 10 defense. So it's going to be about defense eventually. The Vikings top 10. Detroit's not going to be able to stay in that top 10 because of the injury, and Chicago's going to have a top 10 defense. But I would say right now, because of the quarterback play of Jared Goff, I would give a slight edge to the Detroit Lions. But guess what? We're getting ready to work that out on the field next week. So my opinion ain't going to matter, because next week we're going to hit the head, let it fall where it needs to fall.
There you go again. But I will say this. Detroit's got 2 running backs, both for over 300 yards, Montgomery and Gibbs and what have you. I'm looking at their dual run. They got dual threat at the running back spot. They got a dual threat at the wide receiver spot in Williams and obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Laporte at the tight end spot and Goff playing lights out. I'm looking at the weapons, and once upon a time, I thought that Minnesota was the team with the bevy of weapons because of Jefferson and Addison and what have you. But I'm looking at the Detroit Lions right now, and that culture that Dan Campbell has instilled in that team. And I got to tell you something. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing from them, see?
Yeah, but when you don't have to double team an Aiden Hutchinson, when you can have our tight end, TJ Hawkinson from Detroit, he'll be playing in next week's game. When you can have him release and get into the pattern, they still don't have a Justin Jefferson. Okay, Jordan Addison is a better complement, all right, than anyone that they have there. I know Jameson Williams is starting to emerge, but Addison is a better all-around receiver. So now with that offensive line that we have, we match up well. You have to double team Jefferson. So now it's a numbers count. We get a lot of single matchups, and with Aaron Jones, if he's able to avoid a serious hip injury and able to run the football, Don is going to see nothing but man-to-man. So that's one. It's a matchup, man. And now with Aiden being out, that's a huge component to who's going to win this division.
Let's transition to the South with the Bucs and the Falcons right now. I'm done with New Orleans. I mean, you give up 51 points yesterday. I'm done with you, okay? I know you don't have Derek Carr, there's your quarterback, but still, I mean, damn, talk about getting ran roughshod over. That's what happened to them yesterday. I've lost all faith in them. We know that Carolina's the worst team in football. It comes down to the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who dropped 51 on New Orleans yesterday. Baker Mayfield throwing touchdown passes. Mike Evans didn't even have a big game, but Chris Godwin did. You know Todd Bowles knows how to coach that defense, even though that second quarter didn't look so great. What are your thoughts about what you're seeing in the AFC, in the NFC South, particularly from Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Man, you have to respect what he's doing. I think 17 touchdown passes. Godwin seemed like he got reemerged as that second guy. Now, their ability to be able to score the football, you're going to always have a chance. In that division, really only competition is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. But Baker Mayfield and his ability to be able to find a landing spot after having traumatic things happen as a starting quarterback, most franchise quarterbacks, especially #1 pick in the draft, former Heisman trophies, they don't bounce back. Once they lose that first starting franchise, they don't ever get the keys to another city, to another franchise. And that's what Todd Bowles has been able to do with Baker Mayfield. It's almost impossible to resurrect a quarterback that has had real success and real trauma as far as the quarterback position, as far as people giving up on him. Baker Mayfield has found that. That's magical to be able to find. And then this year, when the South is down, I believe they emerge and win that division there. And their only team, I believe, going to make it to the playoff.
You know, I'm going to go to the NFC East only in this regard. I'm looking at the Commanders. This kid, Jaden Daniels. Listen, Baltimore won the game yesterday, but he wasn't awful. He showed up. The Commanders were formidable. I'm thinking they still got a legitimate shot to win the division. I don't know what the hell Nick Sirianni was doing talking smack to Philadelphia Eagles fans, but I didn't mind it that much. Other people did. What are you seeing in the NFC East? I think it's safe to say, after watching the Dallas Cowboys wet the bed yesterday, that this division is going to come down to the Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. What did you see and what do you believe in terms of who's going to win that division?
First of all, Nick Sirianni yelling at a Philly fan. I mean, in Philly, you know, I played 3 years there in Philly. Every time me and Randall Cunningham warmed up before the game, they booed him to death. They called him all kind of things. I used to be catching the ball next to Cunningham, and the guy is booing. I come from Ohio State. This stuff is foreign to me. But that is some. Do you remember the name Rich Kotite?
Yes.
That's some old Rich Kotite.
Former head coach for the Eagles and the Jets. He was not good.
And arguably one of the worst head coaches in the history of the NFL. Those type of coaches are yelling at the fans where your team didn't play well. I heard Bill Belichick talk about one time in New England, they won like 20 games in a row. And he took a knee at halftime and the fans booed him.
Wow.
He said that's par for the course. That's what you're supposed to expect. So to me, regardless of what Philly looks like on the field, he loses the press conference every week. He looks like an amateur. He looks like a guy trying out for the job. He looks like an interim head coach. So for me, I was very, very disappointed about that. The team does not look good. And losing Kelsey, you can see it in the press conference after the game. You can see in the lack of leadership on that offense.
The center,
losing Kelsey.
The center, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to devalue him, but it does make sense. Now I see what Jalen Hurts is talking about, but I'm kind of wondering how the quarterback allowed a situation and how the head coach allowed the situation where the center is the voice of the whole damn team, and without him, y'all seem lost and discombobulated. That don't make sense to me, see?
Listen, bro, that offensive line, we never give them any credit. But you got a dude at center. I'm talking about a dude at center. This is just like Jeff Saturday, man. Man, these ain't no regular guys, man. They keep all their linemen together. They are the most intelligent, typically besides the quarterback, on the football team. And you can see by his personality, the stuff he's doing off the field, that he's a special guy. You don't just take that out of the locker room and just replace it, man. That's not ready to talk about the offensive lineman, bro. Hey, man, you better give them some respect, man. Smartest group on the team and underrated in every freaking aspect. And you watch this Philly team, they will miss his leadership throughout this season.
Before I let you get on out of here, who's the best team in football right now?
Give it to me. Best team in football, man.
Best team in football. Who is it? Who is it?
Kansas City Chiefs. Because their algorithms, they can win more games, more different ways. They got the best coach in football in Andy Reid. Special teams, 100%. Defense, Spagnuolo, he knows his personnel. Kansas City, put some respect on it, man. Back to back, trying for back, 3 in a row.
Best running back in football is who?
Best running back. Man, I gotta go to the kid from Atlanta, man. He's nice, man. He's so nice.
Who?
Robinson. To me, Robinson. He's the best running back. I would take him over anybody in the NFL. He's got speed. He runs between the tackles. Great receiver out of the backfield. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I would ask you the best.
Who would you take?
I would.
Who
I was going to say Derrick Henry. I ain't going to lie to you. I was going to say Derrick Henry. I mean, he's just a man amongst boys. I'm just looking at him right now. He's just a man amongst boys. That's just how I feel about him. You know, I can't say enough about him. I would ask you who the best wide receiver is, but I ain't wasting my time with your obvious answer. We all know you're gonna go Justin Jefferson. We all know we ain't gonna think about it at all. So I'm just gonna leave it alone, man. All right? I'm gonna let you get on out here. I ain't gonna even let you answer that damn question. How about that? Because I know what you're gonna say.
They wear purple. They do stuff like this.
Here we go. There you go. CC, love you, bro. Talk to you next week, my man. Thanks so much. You take it easy.